The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Totally Premier League podcast. And what a weekend it has been. We will discuss every fallout of Manchester City, Arsenal, from the fallout of Brighton, Nottingham Forest, Crystal Palace, Manchester United. Oh, there was so much that had happened as well. And I'm delighted to say that I've been joined by a very, very special guest. We have Matt from Up the Cherries in All Departments YouTube channel. How are you, Matt?
All good, Doug, and looking forward to going through and discussing all these games from this weekend. It's been quite a weekend of controversy, should we say? And pleasure to be on, mate.
It's a pleasure to get you on, and yes, people, please do go and check out Up the Cherries in all departments. Obviously, led by Craig Beasley and yourself, Matt, as well. So I will leave that in the description after this is out as well. But yes, we will go on to match week number 5 because, as we said, it was a very, very controversial week, to say the very least. Now, I'll start with the predictions because let's just say I had a very bad week. I did not get any scores right. I was up against Spider LFC, Kev Murphy. Very, very good Irish name, that is as well. I got 4 points. I got outcomes: Aston Villa Wolves, Liverpool Bournemouth, Tottenham Brentford, and Brighton Nottingham Forest. So 4. Kev, Villa Wolves spot on. Liverpool Bournemouth spot on, Man City Arsenal spot on, and Tottenham Brentford outcome. So he got 10 points. So yeah, I was gupped. But let us go into what happened in match week 5, and I'll do these slightly differently because I think it's probably best to sort of go from the most controversial game to the least controversial game. So, but there's only one way to start: Manchester City 2. Arsenal 2. Now, I don't know about you, Matt, but I really enjoyed this game. I was almost looking forward to this game. I thought there would be goals, there would be a lot of incidents. Obviously, the story of the match: Erling Haaland, who else? 100th goal for Manchester City, which is incredible, you would have to say. Calafiori scored an absolute screamer to make it 1-1. And then Arsenal did take the lead. Gabriel, who actually had a header previously, actually went over the bar, but this one went into the back of the net. And then Trossard, absolutely stupid. I am not defending anybody to say that was not a red card. Arsenal fans should know from Declan Rice from a couple of weeks ago: if you kick the ball away, you get sent off. And then all that defended in that second half, and then John Stones finally got to 2-2. What did you make of this game? I thought it was an absolute cracker.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of, as a neutral watching that, it was a game that had a bit of everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's the Battle of the Etihad, as they're calling it now, isn't it? Aren't they in the press and on Sky and things like that? And it's a game that literally had everything. I mean, Haaland. I mean, to score his 100th goal in how many games has he played for City in the Premier League? Is it like 130 games or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
It's scary, isn't it, to think that Alan Shearer's now looking over his shoulder with his all-time record. He's 253 goals, is it? Premier League record or something like that. And this kid, he's got years ahead of him yet. So, yeah, I mean, what a great milestone for him to hit. But yeah, the drama in the game was something else, wasn't it? I mean, the sending off. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, you ain't gonna like it if it happens to your team, but the rules are the rules. He's kicked the ball, isn't he? It's as simple as that. So, yeah, you're right. Arsenal fans can't really defend that one, and obviously, like you said, they should have learnt their lessons from the Declan Rice incident a few weeks ago. But yeah, there was just something in that game that made me think. I mean, even towards the end of the game, Arsenal was still having chances, but there was something just in the back of my mind thinking City can pop up and nick this. And I think this is the reason why I've because on our channel we do a tier list every season, and that's why I think I fought for Man City to be top again this year, because I just can't see them being, they don't seem to know when they're beaten, even against sides in the Champions League, which we'll see this season, and they just don't seem to know when they're beaten, and I just think they've got enough in them to win the league again. And I think that proved it with that John Stones equaliser, to be completely honest with you.
It was one of those things, like the second half. Look, I can understand why Arsenal defended for their lives. I've seen Liverpool go down to 10 men against Spurs. I've seen them go down to 9 men. They were still attacking. I think Arsenal had one effort in that second half, and I think it was Havertz that tried to lift it over Ederson. But the more the game went on, I think you had a feeling that City were going to get an equaliser. To be fair, they had a lot of pot shots. Kyle Walker, Gavardio, Diaz, it just never felt it was coming. And I suppose the biggest thing to come out of that game is, unfortunately, Rodri has done his anterior cruciate ligament. Now, all Liverpool fans will know what happened to Virgil van Dijk. He had a really bad anterior cruciate ligament, and unfortunately, he was out for a while. So, how big a loss of this is City? Because for me, he makes City click. He is the best central defensive midfielder in the league. He will be a big loss.
Yeah, he will be massively. The thing is, though, they still have a lot of world class across the pitch, don't they? But you are absolutely right in terms of how he clicks them together. Yeah, I mean, what other options have they got to fill that role? Obviously, Calvin Phillips hasn't worked out, and he's on loan at Ipswich now, and he's nowhere near the class of Rodri, is he? Ake has played in that role before for Bournemouth. Can he step into that? But he's not had a lot of game time at City, has he, so far this season? I don't know who they've actually got like for like. Is there anyone there like for like that they've got?
Not like for like. I think, as you say, Ake's played there before. John Stones has played there before.
Yeah.
It might just be a case of just having to go till January and then going in for somebody. I was amazed they didn't go in for a sort of a backup for Rodri. Look, I think a lot of people have said at the time that Rodri was looking very, very not sharp, but he wasn't. He was like he came back injured, and I think, look, I think the one thing you've got to say for City's point of view is that you look at City at the moment, and yes, Rodri is a massive, massive blow, but I think they'll go into the market in January. They cannot go through the whole season without a recognised DM. It's simply not possible. I don't think as well. So yeah, it's a big loss. It's a big loss. I actually said last week in one of my episodes that City can ill afford to lose Rodri or Holland now. They've lost Rodri. If they lost Holland, then you would really worry where the goals would come from, because they still have a lot of quality in front of them. Obviously, Savinho scores goals. Doku, who I don't think he had a very good game at the weekend. Grealish can get them goals as well. Phil Foden, he can play sort of that central attacking midfielder, but he might need to be used for that that striking role. So it sort of makes the decision now to let Alvarez go really strange for me.
Yeah, I thought it was strange at the time anyway. It's fair play to him that I think it was him that wanted to leave, wasn't it? If you
Yeah.
believe Reed, and he wanted to pursue a new challenge, and fair play to the player. But from City's perspective, yes, okay, you've got the best striker in the world, but yeah, what is Plan B? And they don't up front. They definitely don't seem to have a Plan B, do they? So, yeah, I'm sure every City fan has got their fingers crossed and their toes crossed that Haaland stays fit. Obviously, we've got internationals coming up as well again shortly, haven't we? So that's always a terrifying moment when you lose your players to international duty and they come back cropped. So yeah, if they were to lose Haaland, yeah, I think it would probably map out their season differently to what I predicted anyway.
Yeah, it certainly would, and obviously they've still got the charges over their heads
Of
as well.
course.
This was dubbed the unbeaten game. Brighton 2, Nottingham Forest 2. So no surprises. It was a draw. Yeah, this was another mad game. I mean, Forest took the lead, and then obviously Hinchelwood scored a very good header to make it 1-1. Danny Welbeck scoring a free kick, though. That is a rarity. I don't think I've ever seen Danny Welbeck scoring a free kick. And then obviously their new signing, Sosa, got the equaliser. And then it all kicked off.
Mm.
What did you make of the Gibbs White red card?
Ah, yeah. Looking back at it, yeah. Yeah. Do you know what? I'm still in two minds, but yeah. I think so. I think so. I think if I was a ref, I think I would have done that. But I think I would have given him
Mm.
the red for that. But then again, that sparked a lot of action on the bench, didn't it?
Yes. Yes, Nuno Herzler were both sent off. I've got to be honest, when the tackle came in, I actually thought he won the ball. I thought he won the ball, but actually, when you look at it again, I think it's the scissor movement in the tackle. I
Mm.
think it's the scissor movement in the tackle that's gotten sent off. So, already on a yellow, it's really, really stupid to go into a challenge like that. But yeah, it all kicked off on the benches, as we said. Nuno, Herzler, both got red cards. It's quite a mad way. But I've got to be honest. Brighton and Nottingham Forest have both really impressed me so far this season. Both unbeaten. May sort of depend how they do this weekend, because they've got some tough games ahead of them. But I think at this stage in the season they would be very, very happy.
Yeah, I mean, Forest. We've played Forest first game of the season, and we got a draw at the City Ground. But I mean, watching that game, they looked pretty decent.
Mm.
And fair play to them. I mean, to be um, unbeaten. They're still unbeaten, aren't they, Forest?
Yep.
They are still unbeaten, aren't they? Yeah, so I mean, fair play. I mean, I know Brighton were. I mean, Brighton's a great little setup anyway, and I think the amazing thing with Brighton is that when they seem to change managers, they always seem to do their research and their due diligence really well, because he's kind of come in and not tried to fix something that isn't broken, and has carried it on
Mm.
from the previous manager, and has obviously put his little stamp on it. So Brighton, yeah, very impressive. I thought they would struggle this year. Just naivety, where you got this young manager of 31, you probably should still be playing football, not managing football. But so my naivety made me think that Brighton would struggle this year. But no, credit to Brighton for the appointment and for his work so far, because they've been fantastic. And but yeah, Forest has surprised me. I actually tipped Forest to be right down there. Obviously, it's still a long way to go, but so far they've looked impressive. Obviously, losing Gibbs White is going to hurt them a little bit. But yeah, they've had a better start than I expected anyway. But yeah, again, another great game for the neutral with all the controversy.
Yeah, Super Sunday was mad, absolutely mad. Four goals and full of incidents as well. We'll go to a game where I can't believe this was 0-0. Crystal Palace 0, Manchester United 0. Now, this was the tale of the two goalkeepers. I mean, Dean Henderson had a magnificent game, I've got to say. I think he was excellent in that Palace goal. I know United hit the post, I know they hit the crossbar as well. I think Palace had the best chance at the end there with Eze putting it wide as well. Obviously, we had the double save from Onana, but it's not so much the game I want to talk about. It is the decision which I think has baffled a lot of people, including myself. How on earth, Matt, did Lissandro Martinez escape a red card? Because for me, I thought that was a tackle they were trying to clamp down on the stamps. And now, if anyone hasn't seen the still image, I mean, Martinez has basically jumped in to a tackle. Now, he's not caught Kamada. He's managed to get 2 feet on the ball, but I don't think it's the attempt to go for the ball. It's the fact he's gone in 2 feet. Now, 2-footed tackles, by the letter of the law, are red cards.
Absolutely.
So, how he's escaped with that, I'll never know.
Well, the only person that can really answer that is the referee, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, how? I mean, the still image, which we briefly spoke about before we came live, the still image looks horrific, doesn't it? And it is blatantly a dangerous tackle. Now, you imagine if he caught the player, the potential injury he could have done to the player. It's a horrific challenge, but yeah, okay, he does. Well, he's lucky and lands on the ball, but even so, like you say, the letter of the law is, you can't go in 2-footed. Yeah, it's. I mean, I watched that game, and it baffled me how at the time. I mean, I just can't. I just cannot answer that. It is baffling. I mean, to be fair, with it being a 0-0 draw, there wasn't a lot of stuff to talk about. So it's just as well we're probably talking about a tackle, to be honest. But yeah, it's yeah, for me it's dangerous play, definitely. And yeah, just thankfully he didn't catch the Palace player in the wrong way, because it could have been a much different conversation we're having, to be honest.
Yeah, I think a split second more, Kamada's probably got a broken leg. He's probably got a broken leg, probably a broken ankle, and yeah, that would definitely be a red card, because it is dangerous play. But I kind of think that again, it was dangerous play anyway. The way he's gone in, and as well, like I've seen like a lot of United fans actually say, "Why did you do that?" Because it's silly tackle. They've already got like injuries to their back line. Anyway, what have you made of Manchester United this season so far? I mean, a lot of people were like, "Okay, maybe this is the sort of the season where they can sort of try and forget the things about that 8th place, but 7 points from a possible 15 so far. It's not great."
I think again it's underachieving, isn't it? I mean, for a club of United stature, it is underachieving. Last season, got to be honest, the FA Cup saved the manager, didn't he? didn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, winning that, regardless to whatever the hierarchy at United say, if he hadn't have won that FA Cup, he probably would have been out the door. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt and the opportunity this season to turn things around. But at the moment, in terms of the Premier League, it doesn't look anything exciting, does it? Yeah, they've made quite a few transfers as well, haven't they? They've signed quite a few players. I forget his name. Scored against Fulham on his debut, come off the bench.
Xerxes.
Yeah, I mean he looked exciting, but he's kind of faded away now, hasn't he? Rashford looked like he was going to be showing signs of his old self when he scored against Saints, I think it was. But yeah, he again looks like he's set for a topsy turvy season like he's had done last year. I can't see him bagging 30 goals this season like he did the season before. So yeah, there's no real improvement, is there? I don't think. I know a few Man United fans, and they don't think there's much improvement, and I think they're slowly again starting to get fed up with what United are producing, and that's only fair enough, really. But the question is how long does Radcliffe let this go on for? Because obviously he's in charge of the football operations now, isn't he, at United? So yeah, is he going to be one of the managers that's sacked this season? But then there's always that question, isn't there? Who do you bring in? But yeah, overall, it's not impressive. They're not setting the world alight, are they, at all?
No, and some very, very tough games coming up for them as well. Obviously, FC20 at home on Thursday, Tottenham on Sunday, and then Aston Villa away. So it's not an easy wee run-in for Manchester United. Again, Palace are struggling as well. But I'm pretty sure Crystal Palace will be off the mark very, very soon. But they almost snatched that, which would have been very, very funny to say at the very, very least. We'll go to the game. Actually, it's 12:30 game. It was West Ham 0, Chelsea 3. I've got to say, watching this, West Ham poor, so poor. Yes, they should have had a penalty. I think Fofana's lucky. He's got a hold of Somerville. He's gone into the box, and pullbacks usually are penalties, but not according to the referee. But Nicholas Jackson, I want to speak about Nicholas Jackson because a lot of people said last season when Nicholas Jackson sort of came into Chelsea, he was going to be this attacking striker, like sort of supporting striker. Now, a lot of people sort of ridiculed him for his finishes last season, but when you look at him this season, he has started like a house on fire.
Yeah. I mean, he was actually had a medical and everything at Bournemouth season before last and failed it. So he's a player that I've kind of kept an eye on, to be honest, since then. And yeah, he's looking good this season. I think, I mean, he wants, when he signed for Chelsea, he wanted to be just like Drogba. I can't see him hitting Drogba's records at Chelsea, but he has definitely started this season very, very well. And yeah, how long can he keep it up for, though? That's what I'm asking myself. Can he keep these performances up for the whole season? Is he the man that can help Chelsea back into that top four? It's going to be interesting to see how he develops, I think, this season.
Yeah, but if you're West Ham, you must be very, very concerned.
Yeah, I mean, from it's kind of be careful for what you wish for, isn't it? In terms of wanting Moyes out, they didn't like the style of play under Moyes, did they? The fans, and I understand that, totally understand that. I mean, I wasn't a massive fan of how Bournemouth were playing under Gary O'Neill, but sometimes, unattractive football, gets your results, doesn't it? I mean, Moyes wins them their first European trophy in God knows how long, and and now they've brought what's his name? What's the manager?
Lopetegui.
Lopetegui. That's it. I can never say it right. He's now come in, and a lot of signings have come in. as well. They've made, what was it, like 9 signings? Was it something like that?
Yeah,
And
something crazy. I actually lost count when it was like
yes,
looking at the signings that they made. I was like, Full Krug was one of them. Wan-Bissaka,
yeah,
Guido Rodriguez,
yeah,
Somerville. So yeah, they had a lot. Max Coleman as well.
yeah,
As another one.
yeah.
So they had a lot of signings, but so far.
Yeah,
I think as well when you look at West Ham as well, they're a team that sort of need to have these signings to sort of gel. And I think
yes.
once they gel, I think they'll be absolutely fine. But there's already a few wee question marks whether or not Lopetegui's the right man for West Ham.
Yeah, you're starting to see the daggers come out now, aren't you?
Mm.
Slowly. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but sort of, was it 78th minute, 80th minute? They were just piling out of that stadium, those West Ham fans. So they aren't happy. But you're right. I mean, similar to like Bournemouth last year under Iriola, we made quite a few signings, and signings take time to gel. And when they do gel and it clicks, it sometimes works. So it's a case of, do you give him time? You've got to give him time, I think. But yeah, they're definitely not happy at West Ham at the minute, are they?
No, and certainly a team that are definitely not doing very, very well at the moment are Wolves, and the 3-1 defeat we've just been speaking about. Gary
Mm.
O'Neill, 2 wins in 18 games now for Wolves. Do you fear for Gary O'Neill?
Um, yes, and I think I fear for Wolves as well. I think,
Mm,
I mean, not Craig. Craig loves Gary O'Neill.
yeah.
I said to Craig during pre-season and on our tier list that Wolves would go down, but I was outvoted. Um, I think Wolves. I think Wolves are going down this season. Unfortunately, I think they've lost quite a few quality players. Obviously, Neto's gone to Chelsea. It's Kilman? Is it that's gone to West
Kelman to
Ham?
West Ham, yeah.
Again, quality player, good defender. I got nothing against Gary O'Neill, but I just think he might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew this season.
Mm.
I think he signed a decent contract with them as well during the summer. So I don't know whether it's a case that they feel that they go down and he's the man to bring him back up. I don't know, but yeah, I think for me, Wolves will be relegated this season.
I think well the way that they're going, haven't had a very, very good start, and yeah, it doesn't get any easier when Liverpool come to Molineux on Saturday tea time.
Yes.
So yeah, so that could be very, very intriguing to say the very, very least. Um, Aston Villa, though, you've got to say very, very well done to Aston Villa, because when you look at Aston Villa, they were a team that were a lot of people had potentially sort of seventh, eighth last season, or sort of this season. Sorry, I should say. And when you look at Aston Villa at the moment, I think a lot of people are kind of thinking, right, they are not going to do Newcastle. It looks like they could potentially be sort of a challenger for top four, especially when you've got obviously Ollie Watkins firing and John Duran, who seems to be the Aston Villa version of David Fairclough.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Villa is yeah, Villa. I think you're right. I think that they're potentially going to be right up there again this year, as well as I think they do well in the Champions League as well.
Mm,
I mean, you know Manny, and Manny's a big admirer of Villa, and he was saying recently that he feels that in both the Premier League and Europe they're going to do very well, and I think they've started to show signs of that. And Ollie Watkins, yeah, great player. Obviously, he's proved that for England as well during the Euros, and he's doing it for Villa. So yeah, for me, I think yeah, they're going to be in that top 6 without a doubt. Whether it's going to, whether they're breaking to fourth, time would tell.
mm.
But yeah, great start to the season for them. And again, another good transfer window. I highly rated their transfer window as well. I mean, even, the likes of Ross Barkley going in there. I thought he was great for Luton last year, and now he's got himself back together, and he's playing for a Champions League club again. And I think each signing they made was very, very good. So good transfer window, good manager. I think they'll have a good season.
Yeah. Fulham 3, Newcastle United 1. This was a surprise, I've got to say. However, probably during the game, you'd probably say it's not really much of a surprise. I thought Fulham were really, really good. I thought Newcastle were very, 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 very poor. Do you worry a bit for Eddie Howe? There seems to be a bit of fraction happening between himself and Paul Mitchell there.
Yeah. It's it's one of those. I mean, Eddie has lost his allies really at Newcastle, hasn't he? I mean, the director of football, Dan Ashworth or
Dan Ashworth.
He's obviously gone as United.
Yep.
And Eddie was working really well with him. Obviously, he's lost influence on the board, isn't he, with the likes of Amanda Selvey, who's obviously her 10% is now obviously gone. So he's lost a few allies up there. But I think Newcastle would be mad to keep someone like Paul Mitchell over the quality of a coach like Eddie Howe. Not just saying that as a Bournemouth fan and what he's done for Bournemouth. Just from the sense of it, he's a great manager. He's not happy with the transfer window. I think that's quite clear, quite evident that the players and the type of player he wanted hasn't been brought in. So I think personally they'd be mad to get rid of Eddie Howe. Okay, at the end of the season, if they haven't made the top 6 or top or Europe, which is what they desire up there, and they want to change manager, then fair enough. Okay, that'd be down to the club to decide. But I think at the moment, they might want to look at other areas of the technical department and probably not the manager.
Yeah, and as well, their Carabao Cup tie with AFC Wimbledon was postponed because I don't know if you've seen this, the damage to Plough Lane. I mean, it actually looks like a golf course. Like at that part of that by that corner flag, there's been a lot of damage there, and I believe as well Newcastle. I was watching the news earlier. I think they were apparently Newcastle have sent thousands of pounds to AFC Wimbledon, sort of get damaged done as well. And obviously the game is now at St James's Park as well. So, and I think as well I read as well that all gate receipts are going to go to AFC Wimbledon as well, which I think is a really nice touch.
I think that's that's what football should be about, shouldn't it? Really, I mean, they've given them £15,000 their GoFundMe page to obviously help with the pitch repairs, and I didn't know that they were giving them the ticket allocation money at St James's, which I think is great considering the ties had to be reversed to St James's. I mean, that's a great gesture, isn't it? And that's what football should be about, really. I mean, that's going to be a great game for AFC Wimbledon. I'm sure they would have loved to have hosted it at home, but to get a trip to St James's Park, that doesn't happen every week for players playing in League One, League Two, whichever one they are in. I always forget, but so that's going to be an experience for their players, and hopefully they might be able to cause a shock up there, make it even more interesting then.
It'd be great. It would be really good if they could do that. But look, it'll be a very, very good occasion for them. It's one of the biggest games of their whole club's career as well. So yeah, good luck to them. And obviously, hopefully, they get the pitch repaired very, very soon. Everton have stopped the rot slightly. A 1-1 draw with Leicester City. Elman Ndiaye obviously scored the opener. It was a very, very good finish, I've got to say. And then Mava Didi scored the equaliser as well. But this game was interesting because very, very heavy rain. There was thunder and lightning at one point. They actually had to take the players off at one point as well. I think they had to take them back in the tunnel because obviously of the lightning as well. But I keep asking this to everybody who comes on here. Everton, Do you think this could be the season that they could go down?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they just can't hold on to a lead, can they?
No.
It's worrying for Everton. It looks like at this rate they're going to have the best stadium in the Championship, which that's tragic, really. But yeah, I mean, after all these years now, I think with the way that they've toyed with relegation, I mean, this ain't the first few seasons where they've hovered around that bottom, isn't there? There's been, over the sort of past 30 years, there's been odd seasons where they've flirted with relegation, isn't there? And maybe this might be the season that catches them. I mean, how many more games do you give Dyche before? And there's the new ownership that is potentially coming in as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, this new ownership that come in might, if Dyche is still in the position and they're still down towards the bottom, they may make that change and fortunes might change for them. But at this rate, they look pretty doom and gloom, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I suppose they're getting the takeover done to them as well. So yeah, look, it's going to be a long season for them, but at least they stopped the rot. I would say that as well. Yeah, Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 0. I've got to say, when I was seeing this game before you guys came to Anfield, I thought this would be a very, very close game. You gave us a close game last season with the 3-1 defeat as well. You did have a goal chopped off for offside. Now it was Semenyo again, who has a very good scoring record when it goes to Anfield. But yeah, what did you make of your performance there?
To be fair, in terms of the actual performance itself, I mean, I can't really, question. At times I thought when we had the ball, we gave Liverpool a game. For me, you can just see the difference in quality. As soon as Liverpool get in that final third of the pitch, they can create something and make it happen. Defensively, Liverpool were superior against us. That was whether the balls were flying into the box. I mean, every ball we put into the box, Liverpool won the header virtually. Defensively, superior to us, broke us down before we could even get into the box. So, frustrating from that point of view. But the general play, we did attempt to give you guys a game. The goal being chalked off, I mean, that happened to us again last season. I think we could have been 2-0 up at Anfield last season within the first 10 minutes. But one of those goals were chalked off as well. It might have been a different game. I mean, I think it's a bit harsh, but it's ruled out. That's it. There's nothing you can do about it. But I think if we'd have gone 1-0 up early, we might have been a bit of a different game. Yeah, I mean, we've got that void, with losing Dom, which obviously we'll probably touch on Dom shortly. But in our new striker, Even Nielsen, he needs a bit of confidence. I think he needs a goal, and that's why I think he took that penalty against Chelsea last week to try and just get his name on the score sheet, which was a bit of a mistake. But so all in all, I can't really complain. The performance wasn't terrible, but at the same time, Liverpool were just superior on the day. But at least it wasn't 9-0 anyway. So we've been up there it twice in the last 2 seasons now, and only conceded 6 over 2 games instead of 9 in 1. But all in all, Liverpool were the better side. Simple as.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. When we obviously got the first 2 goals, so Luis Diaz in the form of his life at the moment, he's been absolutely unbelievable. Then I think it was 3 goals in 11 minutes. I think we got as well, and obviously, Darwin Núñez cutting in on his left foot, which was mad to say the very, very least. Very good finish, I've got to say. Does like this spectacular against Bournemouth as well, because obviously scored in the Carabao Cup last season, but. No,
Yeah,
I thought you gave us a good game in that second half. You know, you could have easily been 3-1, 3-2. If it hadn't been for obviously Kelleher, I think that may have been a real different game as well. But
in
yeah,
fairness, to Liverpool's keeper, he did pull off a couple of good saves, but from, goalkeeper from our perspective, obviously Kepa made a bit of a meal out the first goal. But then, in fairness to Kepa, he pulled off a couple of good saves as well.
yeah,
So yeah, both goalkeepers, had work to do. But yeah, it's Kepa or Allison, not Kepa or Allison. Sorry, the Irish kiddie or Allison. Um, is he ready for first team? The Irish kiddie.
I feel sorry for Kelleher because there was talk about him potentially moving on in the summer. Now, obviously, we've got Mamardashvili coming in from Valencia.
Yeah,
There was talk at one point actually that we were potentially going to get Mamardashvili to basically come in, and then we were going to loan him to you guys.
that's
But
right.
obviously, you obviously got Kepa. Now, I do feel for him because I think he is definitely worthy to be a number one as well. Um, and as well, I think you've got to say what will really be interesting to see where he goes. Basically, I think Nottingham Forest were wanting him as well, but for me, I think he's better than Nottingham Forest. Like go maybe like abroad or somewhere like that. He could definitely play for a Spurs. He could definitely play for another team, but I don't think he's kind of keeper who would really want to play for like another club than Liverpool in the Premier League. If you know what I mean, I think he's sort of the type that maybe want to go abroad. Like he definitely deserves first team football. Does Kelleher, and I really hope he does. I really hope he does get first team football. Obviously, getting his chance now because obviously Alisson is sort of touch and go for the weekend. Obviously, Kelleher will probably be in goal for the West Ham Cup game. So he's getting his chance, which is really good to see. But yeah, I hope he gets like a move as well. Get a buyback. It'd be very good. But he's a top keeper. He is a very top keeper. Obviously getting his chance for Ireland now as well, which is really
Yeah,
good to see. But
yeah,
no, I think he'll get his game. I think he'll get his game very soon. In the Battle of the Beastmontons, Southampton won, Ipswich won. I think when people sort of looked at this fixture, potential 6-pointer, but yeah, Ipswich snatching it at the end with a magnificent goal from Sam Morsey.
yeah.
And I
Mm.
know it was deflected as well, but it was a very good finish. Also, what have you made of both Southampton and Ipswich to start? Like Southampton, I think you've got to say they're probably going to probably go straight back down. Ipswich, for me, I said it at the time. I think out of the three that came up,
Yeah,
Ipswich were the more settled out of the three.
yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, in terms of Ipswich, I think the manager is a great coach. He seems to have them, like a close group. I think that they've got the passion and the work ethic to potentially do what Luton couldn't unfortunately do last season and stay up. Saints, I just with what they've added. Okay, they've added Ramsdale, who I think is a good goalkeeper. But I don't think adding Ramsdale is going to save them. I don't think they've signed enough across the. I've got to be careful what I say here. Best. But I don't think what they've added across the pitch is good enough to keep them up. To be fair, I mean Brenton Diaz is someone I don't think I rate as a Premier League striker. In all honesty,
Mm.
so yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I think they're going to go back down. Um, but I think Ipswich have just got that bit of fight in them that will potentially keep them up.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, last but not least, Tottenham 3, Brentford 1. you've got to feel for if you're a Brentford supporter, you've got to be feeling so annoyed at this because that's twice in a row you've scored in the 22 seconds, and Blamo scored an absolute beauty into the top corner, and then
Yeah,
Tottenham winning by 3 goals to 1. However, I know Dominic Solanke's off the mark, so very, very happy for him to get off the mark. So Brendan
yeah,
Johnson scored a game, which is really, really good to see. He's had a lot of criticism recently, and obviously James Maddison scored
yeah.
as well. However, we go back to flashpoints. Was Vicario lucky to be on the pitch?
Mm, yes, I think he was lucky to be on the pitch. To be honest, I think, but yeah, I mean, what's your thoughts on it? I think he was lucky.
I think he was trying to be a juggler. Um, I think he's very fortunate. I
Yeah.
think I like the fact that people came out and said it wasn't a clear goal scoring opportunity. But if you're a goalkeeper, that's what the box is about. You,
Mm,
you can't handle outside the
yeah.
area. And like I think it was. I'm not saying Brentford would have came back into that game, but I think if you look at what Vicario did, he was very, very fortunate, and it
Mm,
was 2-1 at that point. I think as well what really, really struck me as well. Thomas Frank got booked for his complaints as well, and I think there was a Brentford defender that got booked as well. So yeah, consistency in referees. We could be here all day. We could be here all day. But that was match week number 5. So we'll move on to match week number 6. Now, 12:30 game, Newcastle United against Manchester City. Now, Manchester City are currently in Carabao Cup action. The last time I did see, I think they were beating Watford, and I've not got the score in front of me at the moment. So Newcastle United at home, they've got a full week to prepare. Um, this game finished 3-2 last season as well, and this is obviously the first game that Man City will have without Rodri as
yes.
well. A 12:30 game at St James's Park, though,
Mm,
is quite interesting. I think. I don't think this is an easy game at all for City.
no, no. I mean, going to St James's Park is never easy, is it? They really get behind Newcastle, the fans there, and yeah, when you've lost the world class midfielder that City have lost, it's going to make the task a little bit more of an uphill. But I think unless Newcastle dramatically improve on their performance that they put in last week, I think City will edge it personally, even without
Yeah,
Rodri on this one. Um, yeah, I mean, it'd be a win for City. I personally think.
yeah. I've gone 2-1 City.
Yeah, see, I was going to go 3-1 City.
3-1 City.
3-1 City,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah. Not an easy game to
No,
go
no.
as well. The 3 o'clockers that obviously Jeff Stelling like to call on, who's on Soccer Saturday. Arsenal against Leicester City. I suppose if there's a game to sort of say after losing a really, really late equaliser against City, I suppose this is a sort of the game to go by. Do you think Steve Cooper is under a little bit of pressure at Leicester?
Um, I think he is from the fans, isn't he? I don't
Mm,
think many of the fans are keen on him. Um, difficult to tell for this game. It'd be harsh to suddenly remove him from his job if they're defeated on Saturday. But I think there is rumour going around, isn't there, that they are looking at the situation, the
mm,
manager's situation at Leicester. I mean, some Leicester fans, question why he was even appointed. Um,
yeah.
so I think he's kind of, you know, 3 steps behind before he even started there, to be honest, because
Mm,
I don't think he was very favoured there, was he? But I mean, going at the Emirates, Arsenal, they're going to be challenging for the title. They can't lose points against sides like Leicester, can they? Um, Can I see Leicester going there causing a bit of a shock? I don't think so. But at the same time, will Arsenal spank them? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to go 3-0 Arsenal on that one.
Yeah, I've got exactly the same. I think it'll be a very, very intriguing game ahead. Vardy does like a goal against Arsenal. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like Arsenal, and they'll be hurt in that City game, and I think the team that they'll take out on is Leicester City. So yeah, I've gone 3-0 as well. We've got a bit of a London derby next. Brentford
Yes.
against West Ham.
Yeah.
I think Brentford will be happy that they're back home.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, away games at Tottenham and Manchester City are not the best. As well, West Ham, I suppose they'll be pretty happy that they're away from home as well. They are unbeaten on the road this time around, but Brentford, I think you'd be looking at this and thinking this would be kind of a game to maybe target as a win, because West Ham, you just don't know what West Ham's going to turn up.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. I mean, I personally think, looking at it and looking at their recent results, this one for me, I think it's got draw written all over it. Personally, I think something like maybe a 2-2. Don't know why. I just got that feeling that Brentford. It's crucial that both sides really get something from it. But I could see Brentford really digging their heels in at home. They're not going to just roll over. And West Ham, they're going to be fighting for the points. So I think a draw this one, 2-2.
I've gone 2-1 Brentford. I just think home advantage could be very, very key, and especially with Buemo. I think Buemo has been fantastic for Brentford. Surprisingly, nobody came in for him in the summer as well. So yeah, he's been fantastic. So I think I've just got Brentford to sneak that one as well. Chelsea Brighton. We did say Brighton had a tough game ahead of them. It's basically Brighton A team versus Brighton B team almost for this one. Yeah, this is a tough one, and obviously no Hursley on the touchline as well. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, see this game, I think it's gonna be a good game. It's probably gonna be the game of the 3 o'clocks, I reckon, this one, because I think there'll be goals in it. I reckon it'll be close. But I think Chelsea will edge it. I'm gonna go this one 3-2 for me. 3-2 Chelsea, I reckon this one.
3-2. Bit of a goal fest. That'd be quite
a goal
something.
fest in there, and there, yeah, there's got to be a goal fest.
Yeah, I've gone 2-1 Chelsea. I think Chelsea will win this, and I think Brighton will suffer their first defeat, unfortunately. But it's been a very good run for them, to say the very, very least. Everton Crystal Palace next. I mean, Everton out of form, Crystal Palace not in any form at all. I suppose if you look at this one, though, Crystal Palace have got a decent record at Goodison. They've got a really, really good record at Goodison. But again, I'm looking at this one, Matt, and I'm thinking this has got draw written all over it again.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the way Everton, have started this season, and Palace as well, I think you're probably right. And is there goals in it though? That's the question I'm asking myself. Is there goals in it? Is it a 1-1 or is it a dire 0-0? I reckon it's going to be a case that Everton take the lead and Palace probably equalise, as how the story's gone recently. So I'm going to go with a 1-1 on this one.
Yeah, I've gone 1-1 as well. I just cannot separate these two, and I just think as well, Everton just need to get off the mark very, very soon. I mean, there's question marks over Sean Dyche's future as well. Apparently, Graham Potter, I think I read as well. There was talk about potentially Graham Potter potentially taking over there as well.
Southgate, I read today as well. So
Yeah.
there's names. As soon as you see the names in the rumour mill, that's when you can suspect that something's happening in the boardroom. So yeah, maybe that could be. I mean, if Palace win that one, I think that's when the axe might probably fall, possibly then, before obviously the new ownership takeover. But yeah, be interesting to see.
It will be. The other unbeaten team left is Nottingham
Yeah,
Forest, and they play Fulham at the City Ground. Now, Fulham won here 3-2 last season. I've got to be honest, Fulham, when I look at their team, yes, it might have like a few Arsenal players in there. Smith Rowe, I think, has had a very good start to the season. Nelson
definitely.
has had a very good start to the season. And good to see Raul Jimenez being back on the score sheet, obviously against Newcastle. But I look at this game again, and I know Fulham won here last season, but again, this has got the makings of draw again, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it does. I mean, do you know what? I reckon if Nuno was going to be on the bench, I think Forest might have edged it. But I think with his influence not being on the bench, I know there's only a certain amount a manager can influence a game anyway, but it's even tougher when you're not actually in the dugout. So I think you're probably right with this one. Yeah, I reckon there's going to be goals there, though. I think there'll be goals. Do you know what? I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go. Do you know what? I'm going to go Fulham 2-1 win.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Fulham 2
Fulham
1 win.
2-1.
I know I was there thinking a draw, but I just think Nuno's influence not being on that touchline might mean that their unbeaten run will go.
I've gone 1-1, but now thinking,
Mm.
I quite like your idea of it, but I'll stick with 1-1. But
Yeah,
I
be
I could
interesting to
see,
see, won't it? Yeah,
yeah, I,
yeah,
I could easily see a Fulham win as
yeah,
well. And then we move on to the Saturday tea time game, and as I said, Gary O'Neill's Wolves, who are not in any form at all, play Arne Slot's Liverpool.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, Gary, 3-0 Liverpool.
There you go.
There you
Yeah, I've
go.
gone 2-0. I've gone 2-0. I think I just think it'll be just too much of the same again. Look,
Yeah,
Wolves have a good side, don't get me wrong, but I think, as we mentioned, the players that they've lost as well. It's quite interesting as well. Josie Saz lost his place, I noticed. Sam Johnston's now seems to be the number
oh
one
yeah,
goalkeeper for
yeah,
Gary O'Neill,
yeah,
which is very, very interesting to say the very least. So, yeah, I can only see Liverpool winning this one, and yeah, I've gone 2-0. I think it'll be a comfortable evening as
yeah.
well. Now, this next game
Mm-hmm.
is what basically two sides who've won the old European Cup: Ipswich Town against Aston Villa. Yeah, this. No, I love what Ipswich are doing. I absolutely love
Yeah,
what Ipswich are doing, but against Aston Villa, I just cannot see past a Villa win here. I just think Villa are just too strong at the moment.
yeah.
Um, I've gone 3-1 Villa. I don't know what
That's
you're feeling
exactly
about
what I was.
this.
That's exactly what I was just going to say because I think Ipswich are going to give him a game. Don't get me wrong; they're going to give him a game, but just the quality in Villa's side is going to edge it. And I personally think 3-1. Personally,
3-1. Yeah, I've gone 3-1 as well. And then the final game on Super Sunday is
yes,
Manchester United Tottenham.
yes.
Oh my goodness me.
um,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Oh, do you know what? This is a tricky one. This is a tricky one.
very.
But dare I say it? Dare I say?
I mean, Tottenham's last win at Old Trafford was that 6-1 win during
Yes,
COVID.
yes, yes. That's about what was that? 3 seasons ago now? 4 seasons ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. I I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to go 2-1 United.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I think United should win this. Home advantage should say that they will. And Tottenham, is Ange under pressure?
Well, this is the thing. It's it appears that they're trying to influence it in the media that he's under pressure, don't they? But
Mm,
what if he doesn't bring them European football this season or a trophy or something like that? Is it a case that is he going to be deemed surplus to requirements? It's a bit still. I think a little bit early for Ange. I think if he doesn't pull something out the bag this season, then I think it might be a case that they might look at changing him. But yeah, to be honest, I think the home advantage will. Yeah, unfortunately, Ange is going to have a defeat this weekend. I think. Yeah, so
yeah,
I'm going to stick with 2-1 for me. I think.
yeah. I've gone 2-1 as well. I just have a feeling that it'll just be too much.
Yeah,
United will be too much for
yeah.
Tottenham, especially as well. Graham Arnold has left his post as Australia manager. So I know it's
Yes.
all early to say, but he
Ah,
will be one of the front runners to take over Australia.
yes, of course. Yes. Yes, so yeah, his name's going to be bashed about down under for that job, isn't it? So, yeah, watch this space then. Watch this space.
I would say watch this space. I would definitely
Mm,
say watch this space. And now we come to your boys, Bournemouth
yeah,
Southampton Monday night game, Monday
yeah,
night football, of course.
yeah.
Yeah, how are you feeling about this one?
6-0 all day. No, um, uh, w- on paper, games not played on paper. When you look on paper, Bournemouth are the stronger side. Um, home advantage. We always have a cracking game under the lights at Dean Court. So, um, Southampton haven't got the momentum. So I think 3-0 Bournemouth.
3-0 Bournemouth.
Mm.
I've gone 2-0, but again, I've kind of gone along the lines of I think this is the game for Aiden Nielsen to get on the
Absolutely.
score sheet.
Absolutely.
Um, and I think as well that this could be a game that you look at and think, yeah, we need to win this. We definitely need to. It's obviously a South Coast derby as well, and it's nice to get off the mark
Yes. Yes,
as well.
it would be a massive goal for Even Ilson to score in this game, and hopefully that will then give him the confidence to kick on. So
Mm.
yeah,
How would you sum up your start to the season? And are you happy with your start to the season?
um, well, better than last season, but yeah, no, I am overall. I mean, when you look at it, okay, a little bit disappointed that we had the goal chalked off against Newcastle, which was never handball.
Should never have been
So
chalked off.
yeah, should never have been chalked off. There's the debatable one that got chalked off against Forest on the first game of the season. So yeah, maybe we should have a couple of more points in the bag than what we should have. But in terms of the actual start, how we've been playing, um, and in comparison to Iriola's start last season, it's improved. And I think we only had, what was it? Did we have like 2 points in the first 9 games or something like that? So already that's an improvement on last year. The football's good. I'm happy with the signings, how they're blending in. Dean Howson, he played against you guys on Saturday. He's a very talented young centre back, one for the future. Obviously, Even Ilson, we're waiting for him to bag a goal. So yeah, happy with the work we've done in the transfer market. So yeah, it's a case of getting a win on Monday and kicking on from there, really. But yeah, all in all, I think we've had a good, strong start to the season, and long way to go, though. Long way to go.
Yeah, and obviously I'll be keeping an eye on how Mr. Christie does as well, because obviously,
love
obviously
Christie,
being a Scotsman, you've got to be looking at how Scottish players are doing. And obviously, Ryan Christie is them. So no, I think I think Bournemouth will be absolutely fine. I don't see them in any relegation trouble like they were last season, and then they obviously had that nice end to the season as well. Matt, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on and to chat football. I did say at the start where people could find you, but tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, well, Up the Cherries in All Departments is on most platforms. We're on YouTube, Spotify. We're on all the social media, Facebook, Twitter, or whatever it's called these days. Craig tends to deal with that side of things. But yeah, that's where you can find us. And we do a weekly podcast, which we call Cherry Picking, which we look at the latest news, and we look at some like historical stuff as well. We have player interviews. Craig's very good at getting celebrities on. So he has music celebrities. His favourite that he likes to name drop in the football world is Harry Redknapp. We've had Harry on quite a lot. So yeah, that's where you can find us. That's the kind of content we're doing. Yeah, we're looking at ever expanding. So if there's any Bournemouth fans watching that want to get involved, then yeah, drop us a message.
Absolutely, yeah. Go and check them out. I will leave their channel link in the description. So please go and check that out as well. And yes, thank you for lending me your ears as well as they like to see as well. But yeah, please do hit the follow button as well, so we're in your feed every week. And yeah, episode 9. These are coming thick and fast. I'm really enjoying doing these as well. But yeah. Are we in for another interesting week? I'm pretty sure we will be, because obviously inconsistent refereeing will be more talking points. I'm sure we'll have more talking points next week to discuss as well. But thank you very much for listening, and please let us know how you enjoyed it. Please let us know your thoughts as well, and yeah, I'll see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.
The Talksport Fan Network.
The ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.